to do a very small sin in order to save somebody from doing a big sin? It's a big question that we run into many different times. If I have the opportunity now to save a person from doing a small sin, and I'm participating, and I'm taking on myself a sin, but I'm going to prevent that person from doing a very big sin. Am I allowed to do that? It's a very big question, because I'll give you a few scenarios and you'll see how so many times we're presented with this scenario. Now imagine now I have a friend who doesn't keep Shabbat. And I know he doesn't keep Shabbat. And he calls me on Shabbat. I see the phone ring. And I'm looking at the caller ID. I know it's him. I know he's desecrating Shabbat now. Now I know that this friend is OCD. And he's going to continue calling till I answer. So I know he's about to call now 25 times. He's not going to finish calling till I answer. So am I allowed to answer the phone to tell him stop calling? Because I know I'm going to answer one time the phone, but I'm going to prevent him from 25 times calling. Right? I'm doing one small sin versus many big sins. So this is one scenario. You can give me the answer in a second. You think I'll give you a few scenarios. Now I'll give you a different scenario. A woman is pregnant and she feels contractions. Pikuach nefesh, right? You can take her to the hospital. The husband picks up the phone, calls the ambulance. She tells him, I'm delivering. I feel pain. He calls the ambulance. The ambulance comes. He put the phone down. 5 minutes later, she tells him, you know what? I'm so sorry. I just have some pain. It's not labor. I'm not going into contractions. I just had a little bit of pain. Now, should he call now the ambulance to stop them from coming? There's no pikuach nefesh anymore. But there are 3 guys running in an ambulance. And they're Jews. And there's no pikuach nefesh right now. So should he call them and sin? Now it's not, before, that's not Chilul Shabbat. Now it's Chilul Shabbat because he's picking up the phone. There's no pikuach nefesh. Should he call them and tells them, listen, stop? Because if I don't tell them to stop, 3 of them are going to desecrate Shabbat. And giving back the ambulance, putting the ambulance, driving, and then. So is he allowed to call them and tell them to stop? So there's many questions. I'll give you one more scenario. You see many times a person goes to the middle of nowhere. You see these Chabad emissaries that they go to the Timbuktu or whatever. And not only Chabad emissaries, now it's popular, you see many people, they go to the middle of nowhere. I just went now to Phoenix, to a congregation, and the rabbi who went out there is a Sephardi, Bukharian rabbi. He's not affiliated or associated with Chabad. He went there to the middle of nowhere and he created a community. But you see now that it's very popular, but you see that an individual will go to the middle of nowhere where he cannot pray in a minyan, he cannot on Shabbat listen to a Sefer Torah, he cannot do many things. But on the other hand, he's going to affect many people. So is he allowed to do that? So to say, he's not really doing a sin, but he's missing out on a lot of things that he's supposed to do. He's supposed to daven, to pray in a minyan. He's supposed to listen to the Torah on Shabbat. He's supposed to do many things that he's now going to be missing to do. But on the other hand, he's going to save and help a lot of people. So you have 3 different scenarios that I'm questioned. Am I allowed to do a small sin in order to prevent somebody from doing a big sin? And in some cases, I'm allowed. Now, the rule is like this. First of all, I'm allowed to stop a person from doing a big sin in one of these situations that I told you, if it's before he started the sin, not while he's already doing the sin. So for the first scenario with the friend that calls, he already started the sin. So I can't pick up the phone and tell him stop calling. Because some people might say, I'd rather do a small sin, but I will make him stop doing so many times the calls. So here I'm not allowed to because he already started. The rule is that I am allowed to stop somebody from doing a sin, but before he started already. In the scenario, for example, with the ambulance, I'm not allowed to pick up the phone and tell them not to come. because I'm not allowed to do that. Because once they left the entire crew for the cause of Pikuach Nefesh, till they return back and they stop, it's one big thing. They don't need to stop. They were called out on Pikuach Nefesh, they're allowed to desecrate Shabbat. Even though it's a false alarm, they allow to finish it. I mean, I've seen in many situations that you see the ambulance, he comes on Shabbat, two stay behind, and the driver returns the ambulance. He can return the ambulance back because it's one long thing. And in regards to the rabbi that goes out in the middle of nowhere, he's allowed to go from what's called milchatchila, because he didn't even start the sin. He didn't even start anything. But the second rule is that if you're going to save a lot of people, you're allowed to do the sin. That's the rule. So you have two rules here. A is that the person cannot start the sin. B is if you save a lot of people. So if I'm saving a lot of people, I'm allowed to do a small sin, in order to say, knowing that it will save a lot of people. And that's what Aaron HaKohen did. He says, I will do a small sin, but in essence, I'm not going to save a lot of people. I'm going to save all the people. The entire nation I'm going to save.